Greetings, mighty companions. Anna Kujawa here, and we are doing Course in Miracles. This is Miracle Mondays. And like we start all of our sessions, we're going to start off with an opening meditation so that we can allow our minds to come back home to the present moment and open and rest. And so we're going to be resting and meditating for about 5 to 7 minutes, so just know that. And then we will get in. We're going to see what Spirit has in store for us. So tonight and today, Spirit has an answer just for you, just for us, that we have no idea about. So exciting. So let's go ahead and close your eyes and take a breath. A chance to close our eyes and really rest in Spirit. There ain't no rest like the rest of Spirit. In Spirit, in truth, you can really rest. And we make our minds work so hard for us. Let's love our minds and allow them to rest in the right now, in the perfect, complete, and precious and powerful present moment. And just breathe. We allow our minds and our spirits to just rest and breathe. And we feel our spirit, our true self. This is our time to remember our spirit. It open back its eyes and breathe the rarefied air of heaven, which is right now. Allowing our hearts to open back up to the protection, in the protection and safety of the present moment. Breathing in the innocence and the power and the protection of the present moment now. Who are you right now? What is you right now? Who are we together now? breathing us in. Here we are feeling for that which is eternal in us. What is eternal in me? I want to find that. I want to feel that. What of me lasts forever? I last forever? Wow. What in me lasts forever? Show me, Spirit. And breathe. Breathe your real self in. Beautiful. And then just take another deep breath, gently and slowly, bringing your awareness back to the room, back to your body, sitting in this place, wherever that is. Opening your eyes and yawn and stretch and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Oh my God, it feels so good. and it's really good when we do it together, for me, because when I'm by myself and I'm trying to be present in the moment, you are now, so difficult, so much distraction. But when we join to do it, it's easier. Do you guys notice that too? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of power in the joining there. Something about, I guess, having us all around. It keeps us remembering what we're doing, you know. And we are doing something different than we typically are doing out in the world, okay? We're resting our minds. We're resting in spirit. We're remembering the truth about ourselves as not a body, as spirit. We're letting our minds be healed, which heals our bodies, which heals our lives. Thank God for this. Thank God for you. Thank God for you.
And you.
Thank God for A Course in Miracles. Oh my God. All right. So we do, on Mondays, we do Miracle Roulette, where we let the Spirit decide for us what Spirit knows we need to hear. So Spirit knows exactly what kind of call for love you got going on. Spirit knows exactly what your need is, even better than you. Spirit knows that you have a call for love, a call for help in some area, in some way, shape, or form. And Spirit knows exactly how to answer it. And so we let Spirit use technology to find that message. And so we did it through the random number generator. It's so fun. It is so spooky powerful. And let me see, do I have my random number generator on here? Where are you? Where are you? Here we go. All right. Okay, I have to disconnect this for a moment. Sorry, I forgot to have this ready. Okay, here we go. So, let's see. I forgot to have this set up. So, digits 2. Oh, 2. There we go.
What chapter?
We haven't gotten it yet.
Oh.
Quantity. Okay. And let's see. Sorry, guys. How about... Darn it.
You need a random
I
generator?
do. Do you have one on your phone? Oh, hallelujah. Sorry about that. So if you'll do, yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. This is a wonderful way to let Spirit choose for you. It used to be in the old days before this, I would just allow my Course in Miracles book to open wherever it would open, but then it started opening in the same place all the time. And so when Random Number Generator came out, it was like a miracle. And they've done lots and lots of studies in the laboratory to see if people with some intention could affect a random number generator. And lo and behold, they absolutely could. In other words, our minds or our spirits can literally use a random number generator in amazing ways. So since you're new, my dear Q, love your name. Best name ever.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Score.
Score. So just hit randomize. That'll tell us the chapter. 29. Okay. So now I want somebody to look in the table of contents. So now we're chapter 29. Thank you guys for your patience. So when you see how many sections are in chapter 29, tell me. 9. Okay, wonderful. All right.
So
9. 9 sections. Okay. And then you, my dear, would you touch randomize to see what section? Okay, 1. So we are chapter 29, section 1. And I wonder what that's going to be.
The closing of the gap.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So we're chapter 29.
29 is titled The Awakening, and then the closing of the gap.
Text. Okay, guys, we're chapter 29, section 1. And you said it's the closing of the gap? Okay.
Yeah. 29 is called The Awakening.
Oh, beautiful.
The Awakening.
The Awakening. Did you guys know that there was a great awakening underfoot? Have y'all been noticing? Yes. Greg and I were talking about it on the way here.
Thanks
We were
for
like,
paying attention.
why is it that the ego's been defending so hard lately? Let's see. Why is it that there's a global pandemic going on that makes it so that nobody should get out in the streets and join? No one should get out and join. Gee, I wonder why we're having a global pandemic that says you should stay in your homes, don't go out with other human beings. Wonder why. And we were also wondering, why is the ego coming in hard on us these days? Why could it be? And because there's a great awakening happening, and there's a lot of power happening in this great awakening, lot of power in it, and the ego feels profoundly threatened. Ego is running scared. But it's not running, it's digging in its heels. It's mobilizing its forces against our release. The ego's scared. Okay? Ego doesn't know exactly what's happening. It just knows that it feels threatened by it. Okay? The ego's ultimate demise is our awakening. As we wake up to the truth about ourselves, our innocence, our power, our creativity, especially the power of our joining, as we awaken to that, that's the ego's demise. And so what's happening now is the ego's greatest fear. So that's why the ego came up with, hey, a global pandemic. So don't go to the grocery store. And certainly don't go into the streets and protest. Certainly don't do that. Do you remember all the global protests that were happening all over the world right before the pandemic? You ever notice that? There was uprisings and revolts and protests in several countries all over the world. All over the world. Right before. And then, boom, what a shocker. Now there's a global pandemic. Everybody's on lockdown. Don't go out in public. Don't go out in public. Don't join with other people. All right. Well, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though. All right. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Okay. Let's get some music going back on. Okay. All right. Okay, welcome guys. So happy to have you joining our healing circle. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your presence. I love your feedback and your comments. I also love your questions. If you have any questions about how to apply this practically to whatever you're going through today, then feel free to write your question. If you have a question, write it in all caps and hopefully it'll catch my eye. All right? Beautiful. And same to you guys. Don't forget, I love questions. This is all about how do we practically apply it right now. That's what it's all about for me, okay? So, let's see what it has to say about the closing of the gap. Okay, great. It says, there is no time, there is no place, there is no state where God, which is infinite love, is absent. Wow. There is no time, no place, no state where God, where love is not there. Good to know. That means at any moment, any time, any place, whatever's going on, you can access what we call God, which is the consciousness, the mind of infinite love and power. Okay, great. Period. Now, because of that, that would have to mean there is nothing to be feared. How funny, we were talking about the global pandemic. And then, nothing to be feared. Okay. Wow. There's nothing to be feared. Why? Because no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, no matter what state you're in, God is there. Infinite love, the mind of infinite love and power is there. Anytime, anywhere, anything that's going on. So there's nothing to be feared. In other words, what we're saying here is there is no way in which a gap could be conceived of in the wholeness that is God's, that is love's. Wow. So it's not like, oh, God is everywhere except for Lakewood. Except for my hip. Except for in my body. Except for in my relationship. Except for in my finances. Except for over here in Africa. Okay? There is no gap that could ever exist in the wholeness of the love and the power. That is God. That is everywhere. Wow. Good to know. And it says the compromise that the least and littlest gap would represent in God's eternal love is quite impossible. Wow. There's not even a teeny little place. There's not even a tiny little gap. Not even a teeny tiny little place where God is not. Nowhere. Not anywhere. Okay? Now, it says that would be quite impossible. Not just regular impossible, but quite impossible. Because if there was some kind of gap somewhere, even the tiniest little gap, even the tiniest little place that God was not, where love and power and miracles was absent, it says that would mean that God's love could harbor just a hint of hate. That would mean there would be exception in God's love. Like, I love all of my creation except those people over there in that country, in that place, in that ghetto, in that mansion. Okay? That's what it would mean if there was anywhere where the love and the power of God was not there, not available to them there. It would mean that God's love could what? Could harbor even a hint of hate. That would mean that God's gentleness could turn sometimes to attack. It would have to mean that God's eternal patience sometimes fails. Okay, I said, now that's what it would mean if there was a place, if there was a circumstance that God's love, that God's power, that God's abundance was absent. That's what it would mean. That God's eternal love could sometimes fail. You know, he's only God. It's only eternal love and power. You know, can't do everything. That's what it would be meaning. Okay. So we want to apply that to, you know, the places in our lives where we're making exceptions to the God is everywhere and God is love and God is power and God is abundance. Where is it that we're making those exceptions? Like, is it a physical condition? Like, God is all powerful and all loving, but God cannot handle this. Or God is all love and all power, but God cannot help me with my finances. Okay, or my relationship, or my health. Where is it that we are making exceptions to that? The Course in Miracles says there's no order of difficulty in miracles. No order. There is not one miracle that's bigger or harder than another miracle. They're all the same to love, to truth. And the Course in Miracles says the only reason why some miracles and some cures seem to be harder than other cures is because we are making an exception. We're like, well, this cancer, that's an exception. God's power and love is not there. Okay, but over here was just a minor cold. All right, I'm sure God's love and power is there. That the only reason there seems to be an order of difficulty in cures, in miracles, in healings, is because we are making an exception. We are saying, yes here, but not there. Hi, Kwana. Look at you little creeping in. No, you can't just creep into a room. Don't worry. I'm glad you're here, sweetie. No Leo can creep into a room without being noticed. Come on now.
We tried.
I know you tried. You're going to have to try harder than that, Leo.
Thank you.
Welcome, sweetie.
Good to be here.
I'm glad you're here. We've been waiting for you.
Oh.
We are chapter 9, section 1. Okay?
29.
Thank you, 29. Chapter 29, section 1, the closing of the gap. So, whatever area of life right now seems to be the most difficult, whatever area of life right now seems to be the most frightening, the most painful, like, just even thinking about it gives me a headache. I'm so scared in that area right now. Whatever that area is, we want to tell ourselves, God, the power of God, the love of God is sustaining me, is here for me, is providing for me, is healing me even right now in this area of my life. God, God's love, God's power, God's abundance is surrounding me in my finances, in my relationships, in my body. I am sustained by the love of God. I am healed by the love of God. I am supplied by the love of God, even here, right now, in this area of my life. That's what we want to be telling ourselves, okay? Even if you don't believe it. Remember that. You don't have to believe it. We want to stop making exceptions for where God is in our lives and what God can do for us in our lives, okay? And, you know, the Course in Miracles is not like, well, you know, don't bother God about your finances. Oh, don't bother God with your health. Like, God don't care, you know. God's got bigger things to think about. The Course in Miracles is like, no. God wants to take care of all your worldly, physical stuff. You know why? So that your mind can be on love. So that your mind can be focused on doing love's will in the world. So the Course in Miracles is always saying, just give God your financial problems. Give God the mundane, trivial details that you're stressed out about in your world. Give them to Spirit. Hand them over. Spirit wants to handle them so that your mind can be about love's business. And I read that and I was like, for real? No way. Because where had I had never heard that before. I had heard of, positive thinking and the laws of manifestation and things like that. But I had never heard someone say, hey, Spirit wants to take care of that stuff for you so that your mind can be on love's business, which is allowing the healing of your own mind so that you can radiate out love and healing to the world, the darkened world that so desperately needs it. And so I was just like, really? You want my financial stuff? You want the mundane, trivial details about how am I going to get my bills paid? I was like, yep. I want it all. All the stuff that you're occupying your mind with, that all the places you're making exceptions to the miracle rule. I want all that, says higher mind, Spirit. Hand it over. Okay? And then every time I do that, poof, miracles, 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 miracles. All right. So, beautiful. Okay, so here we go. It says, all this do you believe that God's love can sometimes fail, and God's love and power can be sometimes not here, and sometimes not there, and sometimes God's power and love can fail. This do you believe when you perceive a gap between your brother, which is your equal, and yourself. Wow, that's really deep. Whenever I see a gap between me and another, here's a gap. You're you, I'm me. There's a gap between us. We're different. We're not equals. Whenever you see someone as not equal, whenever you see another as not equal in some way, shape, or form with you, or whenever you see difference, we're different. Okay? I'm glad I'm not them. I'm glad I don't make that mistake, even though I do. Whenever you see a gap between you and another, then you're telling yourself, you're believing that there's a gap between you and Source. If there's a gap between you and others, there's a gap between you and Source. There's a gap where God's love and power cannot come. Wow. Okay, very interesting. He says, if there's a gap between me and others in my life, we're different, we're not equal. He says, then how could you trust that person? How could you trust your brothers and sisters? If there's a big old gap between you where you could somehow lose, if you and your brother and sister are different, then how could you trust them or God? It's interesting. If you can't trust your brother, then how can you trust God? Why? Because God must be deceptive in God's love. So be wary then. It says, let God not come too close and leave a gap between you and God's love through which you can escape if there be needful you to flee. Very interesting. Okay, so that explains a lot of our relationship problems. Anybody in here ever have a relationship issue? Okay, I know not you guys. Yeah, I know not you guys. Okay, good, of course. Okay, I know. We're going to be talking about them out there. Basically, it's saying that when you don't see another as your equal, and you see a gap between you and them, you see yourself as different than them. I'm not like them. We're different. We're separate. If you see yourself as separate, which means not equal to another, then you will have to believe that you need to keep a gap between you and them that will keep you safe. I mean, that's the story of all our relationships. We're all very wary. We're all very wary of love. It's like, oh, whoa, don't get too close. Okay, whoa. Okay, this is getting a little too close for comfort. Okay, we have a belief that the only way to stay safe is to make sure that there's a gap between us through which we can escape. That describes perfectly our unconscious approach to relationships, our fear of love, which we obviously have got it bad. We got some bad fear of love going on, okay? And that's our fear of union. That's our fear of joining. And we also have the same thing going on with God. We're trying to keep a gap. We're trying to keep some space between us and our source that we can escape through. We want an escape hatch between us and our relationship with our source. Don't come too close, because then I won't be able to escape. Same way we are in our personal relationships. Wow. We think that keeping a separation going, a gap between us, is our escape hatch. Why? Because we're afraid of love. You know why we're afraid of love? Because we think that sometimes love can fail. And so, I don't want to love and have that experience and then it fails. That'd be really bad. I'd rather just not love. Yeah, that's a great plan. That's a great plan for relationships. Yeah, let's go with that.
Can't get hurt then.
It can't get hurt then. Exactly. So, aside from the fact that I'm already hurt. But don't think about that.
Yeah.
Don't think about that. The Course in Miracles is saying that we're terrified of love. We're afraid that our ego is afraid of joining. Our ego is afraid of love. And our ego tells us that you better keep a gap, some space there through which you can escape. The Course in Miracles is saying that because we cannot even conceive of love without sacrifice. We have come to love means sacrifice. Sacrifice is love. Of course, duh. They go together like peas and carrots, love and marriage and the baby carriage. Of course, Mary says, you have learned so poorly to associate love and sacrifice that now you're afraid of love. Why? Because now you feel like, well, if love comes too close and we join, well, then the ultimate sacrifice. So if I keep love at a distance, I keep the sacrifice down. Maybe I could at least keep a little of myself. If I keep them away at enough arm's length, maybe I'll be able to keep even just a little bit of myself. Because if love equals sacrifice, then total love equals total sacrifice. So we're afraid of the love that is God. But that would be the ultimate sacrifice. Oh my God, if God is like the ultimate love, then what do you think God demands? The ultimate sacrifice. So keep God way out there. Maybe let your humans in a little bit closer because that's not as big of a love. But we're afraid of love because we think it demands the ultimate sacrifice of self, of freedom, of whatever. And the Course in Miracles says that so the Course in Miracles is helping us to tease apart, to unwire the learning that love and sacrifice are one. Okay? So, this is why we believe we must keep a gap between us and God and us and each other. That's why when love comes close, we trip. We freak out. We sabotage. Anybody ever done that?
Yes.
Anybody doing it right now? Yeah. One honest person in the back. That's why when we allow love to come closer, The Course in Miracles says that as love comes closer, as truth comes closer, we retreat into the lesser forms of fear. We shrink away. We retreat. Why? Because we think we're protecting ourselves from loss. We think we're keeping ourselves safe from sacrifice. Sacrifice means loss. Sacrifice means you know you're going to have to lose. You know you're going to have to give up something for love, right? You can't just have it all and have love. You can't just fully be yourself and have love. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows you can't have the love of God. God's all into you, and then you just continue to be yourself. Everybody knows if God comes into your life and calls your name, you know God's going to be asking for something. You know God's going to be demanding you give up something. Because that's what we learned about love and God. And then, of course, Miracles comes along and turns that all on its head and says, everything you learned about love, wrong. Everything you've learned about love, wrong. It says real love comes from the author of love. Love comes from the source of love. That love doesn't come from bodies. That's not love. Oh my God, I'm feeling something in my body. Must be love. No, I don't think so. It might start with an L, but I don't think it's love. Love isn't physical. Love comes from the author of love. And so whatever is unlike the love of God isn't real love. And the Course in Miracles says that the only love there really is the love from the author of love, from the source of love. So it literally says these really radical, weird things like, there is no love but God's. And I was like, what does that mean? It means that the only true definition of love is the definition of love from the source of love. And the definition of love from the source of love that we call God is no sacrifice. Which is the exact opposite of everything we learned about God. Everything we learned about God, sacrifice. God demands sacrifice. What does God demand? Sacrifice. You see all these rules? In all the religions, we got the rule books that are about this thick. And so, we've all learned that that love equals sacrifice. And so now we're afraid of love, and now we're afraid of God. But here comes the Course in Miracles and goes, really, love is the release from sacrifice. The release from the demand of sacrifice. And we're like, huh? What are you talking about? What is that? What do you mean? What? A love that doesn't demand any sacrifice? No, I don't even know what you're talking about. He says you can't even conceive of love without sacrifice. And so now we're learning that when love comes, when real love comes, it says, I release you from the demand of sacrifice. I release you from guilt. I release you. You do not need to lose to have my love. You do not need to change for my love. You do not need to give up anything for love. You do not need to give up anything. You don't have to stop being yourself. Don't give up anything. Wow. And we're like, well, I would like to receive some of that, but I surely don't know how to give that. I'd like to receive that kind of love, but I don't know how to give it yet. Yes.
I understand that Lent starts Wednesday, which you have to give up.
Lent starts
Give up. Wednesday. No,
what you gonna give up for love?
Well, you
Come
have
on.
to give up meat on Fridays, and you have to give up something else, and then you have to give. Oh yeah, and it starts Wednesday.
What are you gonna give up for love? That is the question. Wow. Okay. Now you can see what it's talking about, how we believe now that a gap between us and others and a gap between us and our source, to us feels like survival. Like, there gotta be some differences between us. There gotta be some space between us. We can't be one. You can see why. Because we need, for us, it's an escape hatch through which we can escape if there be a need for us to flee. Honey, I can't see you for the next week because I need to have a gap between us so that I can escape if I need to flee. Okay? Great. Click. I mean, click. That was the weirdest phone call I ever had. She said she needed some space so that she would have some space in order to escape if she needed to flee. And that's why she can't see me for a week. That girl's weird. All right. So and if you live with somebody and you really can't, then we've come up with other creative ways to get that space, and then we call it picking a fight. You know, so that, you know, let's pick a fight. We have, you know, let's get one of our favorite fights. You know, we have our little inventory of favorite fights. You know, like this one always works. This is our easy one. We keep this one, and then we pull it out so that we can create separation, so that we can go, I feel safe again in my separateness. Isn't that sick? That's a call for love. That is our call for love. That's what it really is. Just a call for love. Okay. Any questions or comments? Thank you for your question. I mean, your comment about Lent. I love it. It's perfect timing. Because Lent is what? Here's what you need to give up in order to be worthy of God's love. Yeah. Our religions are full of them. Rules that you need, rules by how you can best sacrifice in order to be worthy of the love of God, who's supposed to be only love, but he ain't really. Real, right? If God has all those rules and all those judgments and all those condemnations and all, not to mention sending you to hell forever, then how could God be really only love? It's a total contradiction that most of our religions don't really answer. They say things like this: how dare you question? You're in timeout. Right? How dare you question the laws of sacrifice? All right. Any questions from you guys? Yes, right on. Wonderful.
I was listening last night on YouTube to the Lochnicks, Gloria and
Yes.
Lochnick.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good, but they, you get through the New York Jewish dryness of their delivery.
It's a great way to work on your New York Jewish accent,
Exactly.
Juana, which I know you have a good one.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
But and it was good. They were talking about how don't get tripped up trying to thinking that the Holy Spirit is going to do things for you. I'm not wording it correctly.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Well,
So-
there's a perception that has come through the Wapniks from long ago, which is that God does not see you here. God doesn't know of what you're doing here. Okay? So don't talk to God about your business here. God doesn't even know about it. So that's one perspective. My read, from what I hear, before you came in, it's funny because before you came in, I was talking about how in the annotated edition and this edition, it keeps saying, give me your trivial and mundane worldly details that are preoccupying your mind against hearing the voice of love.
That's pretty clear.
And so there's a difference in perspective. And like Earl was saying yesterday, for every single person who studies the Course, there are different interpretations of the Course. You know, the Course is coming through, every person the Course in Miracles comes through, it will come through in a different flavor, with a different perspective. And so the Wapniks had their own perspective. So, whereas I like the perspective that says, give me that trivial and mundane worldly stuff that's tripping you up and keeping you preoccupied against hearing the voice for truth. Mm-hmm. So I like that one. So that's what I subscribe to, and it's been very practical because I don't want to be like tripped up all the time, preoccupied with the worldly, mundane, trivial stuff. I want to be, here doing what the Course in Miracles says I'm here to do, which is accepting the healing of my mind for myself, so that I can then extend that healing to the darkened world and take my place among the healers of the world. Well, it's hard to take your place among the healers of the world while you're freaking out about how you're going to pay your bills or your rent. And that's why your higher mind is like, I would like to handle those for you. Can I please? Please, can I?
Well, maybe I can see too that perhaps they were trying to dissuade from, because they go into that in this particular video, from the New Age thinking of using God as your concierge. Like, God, I want this, I want that.
Right. Yes, right.
So I can see perhaps maybe they're trying to make a distinction.
Yeah.
There.
I can see that, absolutely. Yeah, and so from that perspective, which is, a true perspective, the ultimate goal is the healing of the mind. Because from that, all good comes. All abundance flows. Once your mind is healed, once your mind and your thoughts have been corrected from lack to the abundance that's reality, then all abundant good flows. So I can, see that that's their perspective in that regard. And Spirit, Holy Spirit was given to us to be a mediator between hell and heaven, between earth and heaven. Earth and reality. And so Spirit's like, I know you got needs. That's what it says in the Course. That Spirit is saying to us, I know you have needs in time. I know you have a body and it has tons of needs. The ultimate in high maintenance. I already have a totally high maintenance relationship. It's called my body. And Spirit's like, I know you have needs in time. And we want to provide all those needs in time, and we will. If you will just not use them to linger in time. If you'll have that not be your purpose, getting stuff, getting things, then we'll take care of the things. You need things in space and time, that's great. We'll handle them, just so that that's not what it's about for you. And we'll provide them for you when you need them. We will provide them for you as long as you need them, provided you won't get hung up on them and preoccupied with them and make them your God. Thinking if you just had enough of those things, you'd be fine.
Now you're distracted.
Exactly. If you'll not use those things to get distracted, then Spirit's like, we'll take care of it, whatever you need. And it literally says your needs, real and imagined. So I like that. So, I imagine I need a bigger house, but I need some money for rent. Okay? Your needs, real and imagined. Okay? Okay, great. So.
One more question.
Yes, wonderful. Okay. Yes, thank you, Stephanie. Anna, what does a healed mind look and feel like again? Beautiful. Okay, so a healed mind what it would look like is it would look relaxed, and it would look certain that no matter where it goes, no matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, God is there, God is love, God provides, and there's no exceptions to that. So a healed mind is going to look relaxed. A healed mind won't have all those creases on its forehead. And it won't have a scowl on its face. It will look relaxed. So a healed mind will look like a relaxed face with a smile, okay? And what it will feel like is it will feel like peace. Like, I know that no matter where I go, no matter what's going on, I can always call upon the love that is all around me, that is within me, that is me, to help me, to provide for me what I need, and to help me to feel safe. So to me, that's what a healed mind would look and feel like, a feeling of certainty. I feel certain that no matter what's going on, there is a love that is all powerful and infinite, that surrounds me, that walks beside me. God goes with me wherever I go, and that it will never fail me. It cannot fail. God's love cannot fail. There is no situation, no event, no encounter, no condition in which God's love could fail. God's love isn't like our love. Sometimes my love, it fails. Okay. I love you, but not before my coffee. Before my coffee, my love falters. After my coffee, okay. Okay, now I have some love for you. Come on. So that's what a healed mind knows. And that healed mind can rest. And of course, the Miracle says a healed mind knows it doesn't need to plan. A healed mind knows it doesn't have to plan for its own safety and protection. Imagine that. I can't even imagine that. Imagine that. I'm like, well, I don't need to plan for my safety and my protection. You know, I don't have to worry about my 401k and locks on my door and the right clothing and knowing the right people. I don't need to plan for that. I'm good. I'm surrounded by God. Hello. A healed mind does not plan, because a healed mind knows that there is no circumstance, no encounter, no condition in which God, which means supply, is not present. With no demands, no cost, here is all of supply, 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 abundance, 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 whenever you need it, in whatever condition, no cost. Like, huh? What are you talking about? What do you mean, no cost? Yeah, whatever you need, however you need it, however long you need it, at no cost, provided you will not turn it into an idol and go, this timeshare, that's all I need. Awesome. It will be my God. It will be everything to me. If only I had that timeshare. But if you won't use the timeshare as an idol, then you'll be like, here's another timeshare. Here's another one for free. Okay. Sorry, I'm not a representative for timeshares. Okay. Sometimes I don't know where things come from when they come through. Okay, so now we're going to paragraph 2. Beautiful. Stephanie, did that answer your question? Thank you for that question, Stephanie. Beautiful question. I love y'all's questions. Okay, any questions in here? Questions or comments? All right. Okay, so it says this gap, this safety gap, this escape hatch that we need between us, each other, and God. Here is the fear of God and the fear of love most plainly seen. Because guess what? Love is treacherous to those who fear. Why? Why is love treacherous to those who are afraid? Because since fear and hate can never be apart. Wow. Fear and hate can never be apart. Who knew that fear and hate are one? If you have fear, how are you going to feel about certain people? Okay? Fear and hate can never be apart, which means if you're afraid, then you got hate. And love is the opposite of hate. So whoever is afraid is going to want to keep a gap between it and love. Interesting. See, because you can't love and fear at the same time. So if you love your fear, because, oh, my fear keeps me safe. If you love your fear, thinking it keeps you safe, then you're going to be afraid of love. We're so afraid of love. We are terrified of love. And we have no idea. Of course, says we are seeking love very actively, seeking very actively, having no idea that we're seeking what we're most afraid of. We have no idea we're rushing towards, seeking desperately for the love that we're terrified to find. Wow, that's why we seek, and then when it comes close, we retreat into the lesser forms of fear and sabotage. Now, then it says, no one who hates but is afraid of love. And therefore must they be afraid of God. Shoo-wee. We all say we want love, but we don't say no to hate. We all say we want love, but we make fear our best friend. I want love. Why can't I ever experience love? Why can't I experience love? Can't I have love? Why can't I have dependable love? Well, that's because you still have fear as your best friend. And fear don't like love. Fear hates love. And we can't have them both at the same time. So if you really want love, and you really want to experience love, then you're going to have to decide to say no to fear. Who knew? I thought it was just getting on the right dating site. I didn't know that it meant saying no to fear. I didn't even know you could say no to fear. Who knew you could say no to fear? I thought fear was just life, just natural, just life. I thought fear was like what love really is. I thought fear was like the water that a fish swims in. You know, the water at the ocean that the fish swims in, that the fish doesn't even know about the water. I thought that was what fear was. Not realizing that, no, that's what love is. Okay? So very interesting talking about how we become afraid of love and why we don't experience love, real love, 100% dependable love. That's why. And how to find and experience love when we want it. It says, certain it is that we know not what love means. Period. Okay, chorus. Well, why don't you just say it like that? Why don't you? Certain it is, you do not know what love means. Yes, by the definition of love that we just heard, you're certain we don't know what love means at all. We can't even conceive of love without sacrifice. We can't conceive of a love that's 100% dependable everywhere, all the time, in all states, in all conditions, everywhere. We don't have any idea what that means, just like it says. Now, how do you know that we don't know what love means? Well, that's because, have you noticed you're afraid to love and you love to hate? Have you noticed? Afraid to love, but love to hate? And the Course says, isn't it easier for you to say, I hate, than to say, I love? Oh, I hate this weather. I hate this thing. And I hate this pain in my back. And I hate this, and I hate the president, and I hate this, and I hate the winter, and I hate snow. And isn't it easier to say I hate than to say I love? It says you know that you don't know what love means because we fear to love. Oh, I want to love, but I'm afraid. And we love to hate. That's why we love those reality shows. We get to just have a hate fest. Oh, I hate them. I hate them. I hope they lose. For sure, they deserve to lose. Right? That's how you know that we don't know what love means. We fear to love and we love to hate. And that's why we think that love is fearful and we think that hate is love. Wow. Well, that explains a lot about our relationship, our relations, our love life, all of our relations, our relationships. That explains why they are so confusing. Because they are completely confused. We have become afraid of love and we're attracted to hate. Like, why do I keep attracting the same people that after a few months I hate their guts? Time for a new person. Why is that? That I keep attracting people where at first it's fun and pleasurable, woo, really attractive, and then the next thing you know, we're taking each other to court. Why is that? Well, my dad used to say, that's because opposites attract. That was the explanation I got when I was a kid. So, in other words, our wires, our love and fear, our love and hate wires completely crossed. Our love and hate wires completely crossed. And it seems like they've been melded together. So now, when we experience someone that we hate or fear, we're so attracted to them. Can't get enough of them. And they put us down, and they don't get us, and they want us to give up our freedom and sacrifice, but we somehow cannot get enough of them. And then someone comes along and goes, hey, you're perfect the way you are, man. You're awesome. You're the best. And we're like, boring. I don't know what it is about you, but I'm not really trying to. I mean, you're a good person. Let's be friends. Let's be friends. Oh my God. That's because we have learned to love fear and be afraid of love. Okay? We're confused between love and fear and love and hate. Wow. That explains so much, doesn't it?
Why do we put these anchors in our lives so that the anchors will keep us from experiencing what we are fearing to experience? Exactly. And so if you're afraid of love, which is the same as saying if you're afraid of God, because remember, what is real love? God's love, because God is love. If you're afraid of love, then you're going to have to get an anchor called fear, called hate, called a relationship with someone that there's a lot of hate. Called, well, you only hate who you love. You know, a lot of hate that you may call love. You have to get an anchor to keep you safe from love, from big love, from real love. So I'm somebody who has been afraid of the love that is God. And so I got relationships where there was a lot of hate going on, called attack, called grievances, called a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, to keep me safe from God. Big love that would meet all my needs, that would fulfill me in the way that my special relationships never did. Anybody else done anything like that? Yes. Gotten relationships to be little escape hatches, anchors. Ching, ching, ching.
Yeah. Yes. Whew. Okay, great. Now, there's a way, we're hearing here, a way to break that pattern. The pattern of being attracted to fear and hate and attack and grievances, people who want you to sacrifice yourself,
There's a way to break that pattern of being attracted to people who really keep you safe from love. And then to set it up where now you're attracted to real love that says, you're perfect the way you are. Oh my God, please don't change. Please don't change. Please don't change. Please don't change. You're perfect. Don't change. No fear, no guilt, no sacrifice. Just be yourself. That's all I ask. And I'll give you everything. Okay. Where this is a way to unlearn those mistakes. This is the way to unlearn those patterns. This is the way to unwire the wiring where love and fear got wired together. You know, in your brain, neurons that fire together, love and fear, they wire together. And this is a way to unwire the concept of love and the concept of fear, so that now you see them, they are different. Wow. And now is that practical or what? What could be more practical than that? Okay. Beautiful. So then it says, I love it. Beautiful. Now, then it says, we're in paragraph 2 of chapter 29, section 1. It says, okay, yeah, we're afraid to love and we love to hate. And that's why we think that love is fearful, and that's why we think that hate is love. You only hate who you love. This is the consequence that the little gap must bring to those who cherish the little gap, the separation, and think that the gap between us is their salvation and their hope. That's the consequence of believing that there is a gap between you and others, and a gap between you and God. That you're different. We're different. Okay? This is the consequence. If I think that we are different, if I think we are not equal, then I can't help but be afraid of you. The Course in Miracles says, if you see someone as different than you, if you see them as different than you, then you can't help but see them as an enemy who's out to plunder your peace if you are not careful. What? That's what is the end result. If you're going to see, like, this person is different, there's a gap between us, you can't help but think that see them eventually as your enemy. Because if this person is different than you, you're going to think, well, they have their own needs, I have my own needs, and if they come too close, their needs may make me sacrifice my needs. I may have to lose getting my needs met. If your needs are different than my needs, then now we're enemies. Now we're enemies, because now it's a battle between whose needs are going to get met and whose are not. Now we're in competition. Isn't that deep?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like that's why the Course says that the miracle and the healing is when you look at another brother and sister and you go, their interests are not separate than my interests. Their interests are not separate than my interest. Their peace is my peace. Their release from guilt is my release from guilt. Their guiltlessness is my guiltlessness. Their perfection is my perfection. Okay? That's the only perception that keeps us from making each other enemies and going into competition and war and hate. Wow. Separate interests, the Course calls them. And it goes on to talk about that. All right, any questions or comments? Deep thoughts, huh? Very deep. Welcome to class.
Yeah.
There's no accident why you showed up in this class.
Yeah. Clear about that.
Yeah, no accident. I don't know why, but you can tell me later.
Yeah. Never an accident.
No, I just had a comment, like, I was thinking about how many people bond over complaining and gossiping.
Yes,
and we
yes.
don't get into these like circles of like all this love usually. I mean,
Yes.
yes, we do, but
Yes.
other places it's such a common thing.
Exactly. It's so true
Yeah.
that we quote love to join with people with whom we can complain,
Yeah,
which means judge, which means hate. We just love that.
it's just a group of scared
Yes.
little people.
Exactly. Who are afraid of love, and so they're using their relationships to keep them safe from love. They don't know that's what they're doing. They think, well, I'm looking for love. But really, they're keeping themselves safe from the love that they fear by making sure that they form relationships in which they both eat the fear and the hate. Wow.
So if you're in like a fearful relationship,
If. Okay. If.
not saying
Yes.
this is me.
Big if. Of course. I know you're asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're in a fear-based relationship, how like you just have to shift your you have to focus on closing the gap,
Yes.
or do you have to find someone who you're not going to see a gap in?
That's a perfect question to ask, and it is about learning to see differently. Yeah, that's what it's always about. And if the will of love is, and then the will of love can be done, whether that means you stay together or you go on different paths. But the first part is just you seeing correctly. Like, this is my equal, we are the same, and so we don't have separate interests. They only want peace and happiness, I only want peace and happiness. I don't need to protect myself from them. I don't need to defend myself from them. I just need to see them as my equal. I need to see myself correctly. I need to see us as wanting the same thing. They want to be happy, I want to be happy. They want to feel innocent and guiltless, and me too. So that's where it starts. Yeah, and the Course in Miracles very clearly says that Spirit is not trying to take your special relationships from you. That's not what A Course in Miracles is out to do at all. Course in Miracles doesn't say, yeah, get rid of that person and get another one from a Course in Miracles class. Besides, that won't help anyway. All the people you meet in A Course in Miracles class, they're still working to change their minds too. So it's just about you seeing differently, you seeing correctly. Yes?
Just to piggyback on that, at what point is that rationalizing? You know, at what
Yes.
point are you rounding someone up?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. The Course in Miracles calls it projecting perfection on them, or something like that. Gotcha. Yes, that's a very good question. And so the Course in Miracles says that it doesn't mean to stay in a relationship where there is sacrifice or where there is pain, So yeah. So there's no sacrifice there, So like, for instance, if you were to okay, I'm going to first, before I take any action, I'm going to practice seeing them differently. I'm going to do something different. And you keep giving what you want to receive because they are your equal and they are the same. And you keep giving forgiveness, and you keep giving release from guilt, and you keep releasing your demand of sacrifice that you've been making. And you keep giving that, and you see that they don't want that. First of all, they will self-select themselves out.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, let's say you're like, okay, well, all I'm going to do is I'm not going to defend myself against them. I'm not going to try to change them. I'm just going to try to see them, as the Course says, they're guiltless, they're innocent, they're just loving or call for love. They're just like me, we're the same, we both are innocent and don't know it, we're the same. We keep releasing from guilt, Keep releasing from demand of sacrifice. If that person does not want that, if they are still afraid of love and they prefer the hate because it makes them feel more safe, they will go away themselves. They'll be like, you know what? I don't know what it is about you, but I'm not interested anymore. Or whatever. And so you wouldn't have to do anything. You don't have to go, this isn't working out.
And from my experience, they really show their hand before they exit. They show their hand because what didn't seem to be so obvious before becomes blatantly obvious. If you just go a week treating this person with innocence and you're not checking up on them to see what they're doing, you're not entertaining what their motives are, so now you've totally put them at peace. It will become so obvious, the contrast in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, that is not their motive.
That's not what they want.
They do not want to give you peace.
Right.
But you'll see it now like you've never seen it before. It'll be so clear that you'll be like, how did I not see this before? They do not want peace with me.
Right. They don't want peace at all.
And they show their hand.
Yeah.
And they don't even know they're doing it. They're
No.
just being themselves, but your vision opens up.
Yes.
And then, like she says, that all of a sudden they just start sabotaging the heck out of it, and they're out of here. Because that's not what they want. They want attack.
They want attack.
To project onto you so they can feel better about themselves.
Yes.
I think that.
Yeah,
the
great
other side-
answer to that.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes?
I'm just thinking of the other side of if you approach things that way, then maybe your own perspective changes and then you feel that peace.
Absolutely.
So you go that way too.
Absolutely.
And I think it's the question of after you do that, do you feel the peace or not? Right?
Right. That's exactly right. And it could occur as well that you're like, okay, I'm just going to do what this says to do. No guilt, no demand for sacrifice. We're equal. We're the same. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not going to try to change them, for a week. It could be that they surprise you
Right.
and go, I like that. Hey, can I come to that course class with you? I've seen that happen too.
And I've had that
There were-
happen where you've done that with the person, they don't even know about the course, but I know I changed, but so did that person for the better, for our
Yes.
relationship.
Right.
They
Yes.
don't even know.
And they don't even
Or
know.
they realize this is a great way to live.
Yes.
I like this.
They're like, I don't know what you're doing at the Course in Miracles class, but you are a nicer person.
Yeah.
I'm not into the course, but I totally support you in going every week. I have had lots of Course in Miracles participants say to me that their mates are like, hey, it's Monday. Shouldn't you be going somewhere? And they're like,
You want to get a good seat? Don't
yeah, you want to get a good front row seat, don't you?
Get up close so you can hear.
So it can go, either way it goes, as you do something different, according to what love would do, you're going to win.
You're going to benefit.
You're going to benefit. Either way it goes. Either they go, this is good, I like it, I want some more of that. Or they'll say, you're weird. And all of a sudden, I'm not attracted anymore. Because so much of our attraction is based on what? Fear. Fear. Am I going to get them? Are they going to leave me? Do they want me? Are they looking at someone else? So much of our attractions are based on fear. And so if you're not giving them fear, if that's what they want, then they won't be attracted anymore. Right? And then they'll either sabotage or whatever. That's what I mean by self-select out. So they'll either join or self-select out. Either way you win. Beautiful. Quana?
You can even screw up with your quote unquote with your course stuff, like I've been studying a course for a long time. And so even if you screw up and defend or whatever, but if you go right back to, okay, I was calling for love, I see his innocence, his guiltlessness.
We're the same. Yeah.
And my guy is not, hasn't been a course person, but he's definitely been the it's time for Anna's class. And he
one of those people.
also listens when I watch on YouTube, and he also has been with me to course classes and says everyone has a glow, and I don't have to get him to do anything. Also, I want to point out that everyone has an individualized curriculum.
Yes.
So, and you don't have to know what it is, but for me, with my man, the moment if I'm losing it, he's going to reflect that back. When I get back to peace, he's going to reflect that back. And so, also what's happening with him is that he's healing with me, and I knew that in my heart. You listen to your heart too. That person will heal with you. The opting out will be sometimes people you least expected. Like I told you, I had a BFF. I just applied a year ago. I told her I took responsibility for my experience. I have not heard from her in over a year. This is like my ride or die.
So you released her from guilt, took responsibility for your own experience, and then she never heard from her
I
again.
haven't heard from her.
Self-selecting out.
She
didn't want that anymore.
She's ghosted me.
Yeah.
So it can sometimes be people that you least expect will just.
Yes, that's right.
And you just understand that as you don't even have to apply it perfectly. Absolutely, you won't. You can screw up, but as soon as you get back to truth, then the miracles will. But it's a constant.
Yes.
You can see
Sometimes you'll be sad when those people self-select out. You'll be like, I gave them love, and where'd they go? I only said love. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? I said only release from guilt. You're innocent. No. Where'd they go?
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you sharing that, because that's happening with my ex-wife right now. Like I just went through a divorce, and I have been so loving with her through the whole process, like giving her the company, giving her everything I've got. Like how can I support you through this? And she's ghosting. She's like, she can't handle the love that I'm giving her regardless of the situation.
I do understand though, it's more about what your perception is rather than anything material.
Sure.
That makes
That's the
things
first
easier
step.
to figure out.
What'd you say?
I see you correctly.
Yes, it makes it easier to figure out, to understand what's going on.
And if she ghosts, hallelujah.
We got some high fiving going on here.
Yeah, I get to keep my stuff.
Hey, listen, congratulations when fear ghosts you. What to do? Now, when fear ghosts you, should you run after fear and pounce on it and drag it back screaming? Should you?
Let it go.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's the temptation, like you were saying.
Yes, like you're saying, our temptation, because we've learned to associate love with fear, when fear walks away, we're like, come back here, fear. I'll make you want me. Yes. And thank you, Patty, for sharing. Both of you were sharing, you, Patty and Kwana, are sharing the same thing. You're applying the truth, and they may not be Course in Miracles students, but you see them transforming, you see them healing. Why? Because they're receiving real love. So even if they don't know a lick of truth, real love is transformative. It's powerful, for those who want it. For those who want it. And that will let you know. Somebody ghosted me right now. Hey, I sure am glad I prepared myself. Oh, there goes another student running out. She's like, I'm going to ghost you. I love it. Exactly.
Transformative.
Real love is transformative. If somebody wants that.
Okay, yeah.
It's still transformative because even if they don't, they will leave, and that's transformative for you.
Any situation, it's not just maybe your romantic relationship, but I mean, any, like your business
Yes,
relationships,
absolutely.
anything, if you're alive,
Family,
and makes you
business,
feel away,
romantic.
friends.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So beautiful. Well, it's 8:30.
No.
I can.
No.
I love it. That's what I love to hear. I love to hear a big old moan and a whine when I tell you it's time. Thank you for that. Yes, because my ego tells me that people will be doing, just running out of the room. My ego's amazed people are still here at the 8:30. Really? So it is a miracle that anybody comes back for real. I mean, Course in Miracles is saying the thing that the ego least wants to hear. What the ego has to say here is like torture, to the ego. So the fact that you're here and the fact that you guys are here, it means you are not your ego. That is your proof. If ever you needed proof that you are not your ego, this is it. Because if you were your ego, you would not come here on a Monday night. You'd be doing something else. You'd be off chasing down some fear. You'd be on the fear dating site. Oh, fear. Come on, I feel lucky tonight. Oh, there's fear in a form I like. Swipe. I'm going to swipe on that one. Okay, so you can feel good about that. Feel good about that. All right. So now we're going to do our love offering, and then we're going to do the integration meditation. So thank you guys so much for contributing to my ministry. As you contribute to my ministry, it supports its expansion, enables it to grow, and I thank you. If you would like to make a financial expression of appreciation to my Miracles ministry, then you can go to my website, annakujawa.com, and you'll find a PayPal button. And thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, truly. Thank you for helping these ideas and these classes to extend out into the world. And if you think that this could be helpful to the people in your social media circles, then share it on your Facebook feed or YouTube. And you can find all of my classes on YouTube. So all of my Facebook classes I'm working on getting over to YouTube, and you can find my classes in an easier way on my YouTube channel. If you go to my Facebook page, you kind of have to scroll through stuff. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find my classes easy because that's all that's there. So go to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe, and then I can just go straight to do YouTube Live. That's my goal, because not everybody's on Facebook, but most people do YouTube. So check out my YouTube channel and like and subscribe, and then you'll get a notification every time I post something. And also, I am a holistic psychotherapist, and I have a psychotherapeutic niche called Miracle Psychotherapeutics, where I offer one-on-one sessions for people who are going through some kind of transition, but they would like it from a Course in Miracles perspective. Like if I need some counseling, if I need therapy, when I need therapy, I want it from this perspective, I don't want anybody telling me, yeah, he is a bastard. You should get a lawyer right now. He did what to you? I want my therapy from a Course in Miracles perspective. And if you could use some of that support, then you can either private message me here on Facebook, or you can go to my website, annakujawa.com, find my phone number, and text me. That's the best way to reach me. Okay, so now we're going to do the integration meditation. So I close all my sessions with an integration meditation where we take the ideas and we do something very radical and we use them. What? We're going to use the ideas. All right, so I want you to just rest and breathe. Close your eyes. Sorry that the room's so cold in here. All right. We're going to think some warm thoughts here. All right, so breathe and just feel. How do these ideas feel? How do these ideas feel in your mind, your heart, your body, your emotions? How does it feel to listen to the truth about yourselves, about love, about God? How does it feel? And breathe that feeling in. Let that feeling set in you so that you remember what truth feels like, so that you can recognize it, so that you can remember how good the truth about you feels. Alright, so now I want you to bring to your awareness a relationship in which there is fear. There is a wariness. There's a thought that you need to protect yourself or defend yourself. And any relationship in which you're not experiencing peace and joy will fit the bill. And breathe. All right, the reason why there is a gap between us, the reason why there's separation here, is because we're afraid to love. And I want you to tell yourself the truth. I am afraid to love. I'm afraid of love. I've been afraid of love in this relationship with this person. They're afraid of love with me. We're afraid of love. So we're trying to keep some separation going. I'm afraid of love, they're afraid of love, and so we are the same. Me and this person, we are the same. We're both afraid of love. We're both trying to keep a space between us. We're both trying to sabotage union because we're afraid to love. Take a breath. And now we forgive that fear of love and we go, of course they're afraid of love. Of course I'm afraid of love. I don't know what love is. I learned that love is sacrifice. I learned that love is hate and fear. Of course I'm afraid of love. Of course I'm sabotaging. Of course they're doing the same. Oh, we're the same. We both learned that love is fear. We both learned that love is fearful. We're the same. We both want love, but we're afraid of love. And so we sabotage love. We run from love. Try to keep love at arm's length. So this is us forgiving each other. And now let's close the gap between us and them. And we say, do you speak this truth over this relationship? There is no gap between my mind and theirs. We are the same, created by the same, loved by the same, equal in our love, the same in our call for love. There's no gap between us. They only want love and peace. I only want love and peace. And neither of us know what it is. We're the same. There is no gap between us. And breathe. And so now, now we're going to extend real love to that person. And the way we do that is we release them from the demand of sacrifice. We release them from the demand of sacrifice, which means expectations and guilt. And so we say to that person in our mind, I hereby release you from all of my scripts, from all of my expectations. I release you from the demand of sacrifice. I release you, I give you back to God. I didn't create you, you're not mine. You're God's. I give you back to love. I give you back to love. I give you back to God. You're not mine. I did not create you. I release you. I release you from the demand of sacrifice. I release you from guilt. You are innocent. You are innocent. You are guiltless as love created you. And now let's do that Ho'oponopono prayer that is so powerful and is perfect, the prayer of forgiveness. We say to that person, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. And say that to that person. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. And breathe. This is how we close the gap that's not really there. This is how we heal ourselves of our fear of love, so that we might experience real love, natural love, love you don't have to worry about losing. Love that cannot fail. Love that supports you and supplies you and heals you all the time in all circumstances and all events, no exception. Dependable love. Real love. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, just take a breath and breathe and bring your awareness back to the room and back to your body. Oh, beautiful. Whoo-wee. Yowza. Give it to yourselves. It's a miracle that you came here this cold winter night. I appreciate you for bringing your bodies out here. Even when you could have stayed at home and watched here. Thank you guys for sharing your energy and your love and coming to this healing circle. I appreciate you so much. I thank you so much. And I will see you next time I see you.